The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show. It's brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors, isn't it, Michael?
Absolutely, yeah.
LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball to get you 10% discount on your legal fees. Rob's here as well. Say the words.
Will's Probate Conveyancing.
Yep.
Are they back?
It's back.
Yes. I knew they'd come back.
So you can awkwardly...
You can't keep a good legal service down.
You can awkwardly blather those three things out for another few weeks.
Good.
15% off on the big three. Will's Probate and Conveyancing. Where, Michael?
Phil?
Correct.
Where is Phil?
He's away this week, I think. He's back
Unbelievable.
to record with us in a day or two. But
Makes you think, doesn't it?
About what?
Nothing happening. Phil nowhere to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I read that on Wacko that he'd gone on holiday because Leeds had told him we're not getting a manager.
I know you just said Phil then in response to where can you get 15% off. I feel like you probably need to narrow it down a little bit more.
Tweet Phil, ask him for some discounts.
Have a look on the Phil Hay podcast that are now in our feed, by the way, and you will find a 15% discount on the big three, 10% on all the other legal services. Wills, according to a recent survey, only what percentage of UK adults made a will?
40. No, lower. 20.
Yeah, I know you were in the right ballpark.
Oh, there you go.
Think Ross McCormack.
44.
Yes. What's that then? 56%?
Yeah. Quick maths.
Yeah. In fact, that's the split of shares at Ellen Road, wasn't it? Until recent takeoff, which is still not done at the time of recording. We'll get onto that in a minute. 44% of UK adults have made a will. Get one made. Need one, don't you? Don't want your stuff going to the wrong people.
Nope. I don't want it falling into your hands.
10% discount on your legal fees. LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. That increases to 15% if you go check out the Phil Hay shows that we have on our feed. Yes, so we're here back talking about stuff that's not happening.
The manager.
We're in two minds as to whether to bother doing anything today, weren't we? We're like, there's nothing really to talk about. So we're still, at the time of recording, 1 o'clock on Wednesday, still awaiting EFL approval. Great bunch of lads.
They always were. They always did us a lot of favours, didn't they?
Is it right that if we'd have stayed up, this would have all been sorted by now? Like,
I think
Premier League would have had it all fine.
Yeah, I think they'd already approved it, maybe.
Can they just pass on the stuff?
Yeah, you'd think so. It's just a stamp, isn't it, I guess?
Because actually, the EFL AGM, the annual general meeting, took place on the 8th, so it's 20 days ago now, and they made some rule changes about the owners and directors test. So that has changed in the last 3 weeks. But it's only changed it to put it basically in line with the Premier League one. So if we've submitted to those guys, like you say, just fax them.
The anti-Leeds laws, they've just introduced them, I think.
Yes, because we've returned to the division. They want to keep us down here forever, don't they? Slow. We don't have a manager yet, or we might have a manager in waiting, but it's all gone quiet on this one. It makes me think that this is all but done because essentially all the press guys have just gone quiet about this. There's nothing being said anymore, and it's now, the narrative is now, we're just waiting for EFL approval so we can announce the takeover. Presumably manager follows that.
If that's the case, can't they just tell the journalist who it's going to be so they can tell us and everyone just chills out?
Not when a contract's not signed, maybe, because the manager might not sign the contract until the EFL's ratified the takeover, because you're not actually, under the EFL laws, you're not allowed to do anything that would suggest you are what they call a relevant person. I'm doing air quotes now like a twat. A relevant person until such time as you have been given approval by the EFL. So you can't do anything that would be like a director or anything like that.
But can't they just whisper to Phil, hey, it's going to be Farker?
All right. They might have done.
Yeah.
Phil. I mean, Phil won't tell us, will he? We'll probably record with him tomorrow. We'll make him tell us. What's happening, Phil?
Yeah, it's been a very long time, though, this, because at the end, last week, Phil was saying, the final stage interviews are going on. They're down in London, Marate's over, it's all face-to-face stuff. And so it felt like it was gearing up for, and maybe even last Friday, I was thinking, maybe they'll just announce this. Like, last thing on Friday, catch us all out. Then it got to over the week, when it's like, it's probably not going to happen the weekend, but come Monday, this is going to be all lined up. Nope. And here we are, midday on Wednesday.
Well, also within the EFL rules and regulations. So you've got I think 14 days or whatever to get your application in. Presumably they did it straight away. But the EFL have to give you a time frame within 5 days of receiving your owners and directors test declarations. So they should have given the club a steer on when they expected this to be done by. And there was a bit of noise suggesting it might have been Monday, Tuesday, but we're now Wednesday lunchtime.
I had a rumour when they said that, they put their feet up on a table and said it'll get done when it gets done, all right?
Get out.
All right, dickheads.
But it's just a pain in the arse, and it's sorted out.
Some are having some time off.
There's no one available.
The person who does that's on holiday.
Yeah.
They've gone to Greece for 3 weeks.
Presumably they give it to a firm of lawyers or something like that.
You'd think so.
Give it to Levi solicitors. They'd get it done by now.
Given some of the complete clowns they've allowed to run clubs at that level, it makes you wonder what they do at all, really. But
a number of people have sort of tweeted and asked what happens if you fail the owners and directors test. I think you've got like 14 days to basically divest yourself of any interest in the club that makes you a relevant person. So if one person failed it, they could just give their shares to someone else, that sort of thing, and then resubmit. But just announce it, dickheads.
I assume it's complicated by the fact that it's not just a person and it's an investment group, and they've got to be careful. There's not anyone lurking in the background funding it who's like, on some sort of CIA list or whatever.
Well, the mad thing is, if I'm fairly sure, unless I've misread these rules, that they're changing the regulations that they had at the AGM, said that a relevant person, like the ownership threshold at which you become a relevant person, is 25%. Now, because each investment fund owns more than 25%, all the people are getting checked. Whereas I think I'm fairly sure if you just own some shares in the club itself and you were under the 25% threshold, you wouldn't need to be checked. So it's all a bit silly.
Yeah.
I'm quite conflicted on it because I don't know whether I'm actually just enjoying a bit of peace and quiet from Leeds United. It's kind of nice after the last few years.
But it's there, don't you?
Yeah, but then there is part of me going, I just want to know who the manager is. Come on.
Yeah, I think not having a manager when pre-season starts next week, that is kind of worrying.
Well, it's supposed to be starting on Sunday, isn't it? That's the 1st of July. There was talk of them going back in on Sunday, the first group of players.
I mean, looking at the odds, it seems like it's probably Farke. But the fact that you can still bet on it suggests that the bookmakers don't know that it's a done deal, because they wouldn't be offering that otherwise. Do we still kind of hope it is Farke?
Yes.
Are we all there on that?
Yeah. I've talked myself around again. It's fine if the bet doesn't win. It doesn't have to be Vieira.
Just for the benefit of everybody who didn't see this, you bet on Vieira at
20 to 1
right.
a while back. I thought it was being clever. But Farke's the better option, isn't he, I think?
I thought the fact that the discussion's all gone away suggests that they know exactly who they want and they're just waiting now for the green light. I mean, it could be that we've done God's work here, because it's normally the case that as soon as we record something, before it comes out, there's an announcement. So we could have been the catalyst for this getting done. So you can thank us, really, if
Hope so.
If this gets finished.
Or we're about to appoint 80 to 1 Pablo Hernandez.
Interesting.
Him and Nathan Jones, same odds.
Nat Phillips. Should we have a quick about Nat?
Hey. Because
he's one of the first concrete names to have been linked to Leeds. Phil ran this story. Liverpool centre-back, somewhere up to 10 million.
So I kind of heard the name and went, I suppose probably makes sense, the Championship. Then I saw 10 million. I was like, what?
Up to 10 million, isn't it?
Yeah.
So offer them less.
6 to 8 seemed to be, I can't remember where I saw it, might have been on Wacko, someone saying that they'd spoken to a Liverpool mate, and Liverpool mate had suggested 6 to 8 would probably do it with a bit of some sprinklings on top.
He's a weird player, isn't he? He's been around for ages and hardly played any football. He's 26. He's played, looked at his record, he's made quite a few sub appearances, but if you do his total minutes divided by 90, he's played 60 games by the age of 26.
I feel like Liverpool was supposed to sell him about 3 years ago, and that's when they weirdly needed him because everyone else got injured. It's like, you can hang around for a bit then, I guess.
Yeah, is he the guy that we bring in and then he gets injured for most of the season because he doesn't play football regularly?
Or you just play him and you realise he's not that good.
Yeah.
Is the other thing that sometimes happens when someone's been at a big club. A bit of a Scott Wooten.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm interested in this one. I think if we're going for the full rebuild, someone like this seems to tick a lot of boxes.
It does.
I requested Grizzled Championship bastards. He's a Grizzled Championship bastard in my eyes.
No, he's not played much in the Championship. He played...
Maybe not Grizzled,
he was in Bournemouth's team, wasn't he? He was on loan there for the second half of the season when they got up under Scotty.
He's a good age, though, isn't he? Like, he's not a young kid who doesn't have any experience, but likewise, he's not at the end of his career. I think we need some people in that age range. Because it's like people talk about Luke Ayling and Liam Cooper, like they're about 40. But they're only 32, 33, are they? But then you think of what age they'd have been when Bielsa first came in. They'd have been like that perfect 26, 27 age. I think that we need more players like that.
Yeah, peak years. Peak years. Yeah. There have been reports that Farker looked at him when he was at Norwich. He fancied recruiting him for that. So
I did like that line in the story that it has nothing to do with the sporting director or managerial appointments. But by the way, Farker did want him 2 years ago.
wink, wink.
Yeah.
So yeah, you having him?
I suppose.
Do you know who he goes out with?
No.
Liam Gallagher's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting because I forget how old Liam Gallagher actually is now.
Are you thinking, but she's going to be like a child?
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
no, she's 30.
Yeah, because obviously my head is still stuck in 1996.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of Liam Gallagher at Nebworth. Who was he about 19 at Nebworth or something stupid like that, or about 21? How old is he?
Yeah, Molly Gallagher, there she is.
He, in 1996, was... I can't do the maths. 24.
Well, there you go.
Just shy of 24. 23 years old and doing that at Nebworth. Wow. How old is she now, sorry?
Oh, I don't know. It was an old article, I think. She's about the same age. She's a year younger than him, I think. It's 25, I think she is.
Right. Yeah, wow. Time's just gone, hasn't it? That can't be right. Cannot be right. Who else do you want? Everyone.
Some other players. I don't know who.
Some midfielders, some left backs, probably a striker. I don't know.
Well,
Depends who we sell.
We're going to be claiming Adam Forshaw as a new signing, aren't we, I suppose, because he's not had his contract renewed, but we have invited him back for training.
Likewise, Joel Robles. He can be a new signing as well.
Son is linked to Sam Field at QPR. I think he was like one of their players of the season last year. Everybody I've seen is linked to, I've gone, that makes sense.
Yeah, we thought this last year, though. Mark Rocker, that kind of makes sense. Rasmus Christensen.
But you're talking
nice.
players here who have kind of done a full season in the Championship last season, and to a good level. Like he's been good, Sam Field. I watched some YouTube footage of him.
Where does he play? I don't know anything
He's
about.
basically central midfield.
Don't be
Okay.
fooled by YouTube.
Left-footed. No, it's quite basic, the stuff that it shows him. It's just like some nice long raking passes, but mainly just doing good stuff in midfield.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Yeah. Just buy some players.
To replace all the ones that
Other
are
than
going
getting
out,
loaned out,
that are
yeah.
all getting loaned out.
What do you make of that? Because on the one hand, it feels like it's a prudent move by Leeds to ensure they're not saddled with huge wages in the event of relegation. Like, you can cover off a lot of these costs. But on the other hand, it does feel like it leaves us a little bit vulnerable to just being picked off, and particularly in the example of Robin Koch, who's effectively going to be going for free because he can get loaned out, cover his wages, and then he's gone in the summer next year.
Yeah, and the players that you banked on selling for a rebuild, if like Brendan Aronson, he's just going out on loan because he's been linked with Fulham, isn't he? And was it Everton? Were they in for Everton? Seems to be linked with every one of our players, but I think it was Fulham was the strongest link for Aronson. And I kind of had penciled in that we maybe won't get our money back on him, but we might get like 15 million for him because of his age and everything, and then we can buy some people with that. But if he's just out on loan and we're just saving his wages for a year, it don't really help us very much, does it?
Lads, I've got some breaking news.
Oh.
Guess who Fulham have as their new front of shirt sponsor?
Spotop.
Spotop. Just broken.
Great bunch of lads, or not really? We still don't know what they do we? Not
Just
entirely.
White label gambling company, isn't it? It's a murky business, isn't it?
So they've taken our sponsor and they're taking our Brendan Aronson.
We'll have somebody more wholesome as
they
a
took-
sponsor. Now we're in the
They
EFL.
took Dan James last year as well. Didn't even use him.
I want us to have like bread as our sponsor.
Got some bad news about Dan James.
What's that?
He didn't finish third in Player of the Year.
He didn't.
There was a score that had been misplaced
No
on
way.
the spreadsheet, and he was fifth.
Oh, okay. We need to touch on that, don't we? We said we would, and decide what we were going to do with it. We've had some suggestions about stuff like that over on the members show, but we do need to. We'll collate the clips that have been sent and the suggestions that we've received, and decide if we want to award it in line with the voting.
So
I don't want to just gerrymander it all.
I hope Dan James didn't have any T-shirts made or anything.
Which game was it that he missed?
No,
Or was it someone else?
It's just because the scores were always came in on one sheet, were averaged, put on, and then saved on a different sheet. And someone, I can't imagine who would have done it. The person who did it every week, it was normally me, but I think the week it went wrong, someone else, probably Flora, did it. Blame Flora for that. Yeah, I think it was I think it was a Pascal Strauch score was put in the wrong place. Sorry, Dan.
Because that was the shirt.
Still
It was
in
the shirt
top...
numbers, wasn't it? 21 and 20.
Yeah.
Presumably, yeah.
Still in the top 5.
It's not bad.
Which isn't bad for someone who was loaned out for
I
not being good
am
enough.
still prepared to give it to him.
We could. Click could be the real
Yeah.
obvious choice for me, but yeah.
For getting out when the going was good. Yeah, the loan's out, just returning back to that. Yeah. As long as we don't loan everybody out, or that isn't in everybody's contract, then it's not too bad, is it?
It's just the worry of them coming back at the end of the loan as well. You end up saddled with a load of players that you don't want. Like coming back next summer and Roma haven't activated an option on Christensen or
But
something.
when we're a Premier League club again, it won't matter.
And all with a year less on the contract, so all worth less than they would be this summer, potentially as well.
Yeah. But if you sell players at a loss when they've got a lot of outstanding payments, for example, like if we still owe 20 million on Aronson or whatever, if he comes back and we only owe 15 million, but sell him for 15 million, you're £5 million better off from FFP perspective. So
the worry is, though, is if he goes to Fulham and has a Dan James of a season and he's coming back and he's only worth 10 million or something. It's and you're lumbered with a player that
and we
wants.
haven't gone up, and then he's loaned out again the year after, and then his contract's over. And it's been a complete waste of time for everyone.
What we've just got to do is just got to get back up, as Phil said the other week, just win the fucker.
Just win the fucker. Yeah, which we're
going to setting ourselves up really well for doing that.
By loaning out Tyler Adams and Aronson and everyone.
I really hope we can keep some players.
Yeah.
I felt we need some.
Yeah. Even so Sonny Perkins being linked with a move, which seemed odd. Given he's been linked with a move to the Championship. And
if it is Farker, he likes a number 10, doesn't he? A player to play in behind the striker. Tends to be like a 4-2-3-1 that he opts for. In terms of other moves, McCalman has gone to Carlisle permanently. I'd forgotten he was still here, to be honest. Poor thing.
I'll always have a soft spot for him because on my Football Manager save during lockdown, he was with Leeds all the way to the Champions League as like a backup midfielder, and then I think he joined someone like Napoli or someone weird, which I quite liked as well. Him and Bogus, good options in midfield.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Carlisle's just as good as Naples.
We've got a cup tie at home. Shrewsbury at home in the League Cup, which is 6 weeks yesterday at the time of recording. That's not long, is it?
We can win that.
I think we probably can.
What league are they in?
Lower.
Do you know who plays for them?
Steve Morrison?
No.
Does he manage them?
He's manager of like a non-league team now, isn't he, I think?
Yeah, he was there for, I think he did, was it his first managerial job? That I can't remember, for Steve Morrison. Former Leeds player?
Mm-hmm. I hope he's still there.
Who actually played for us?
Yes. A whole season, more or less.
Ooh.
Only a loanee. Who's only on loan.
Cameron Borthwick Jackson.
No, but the right era. The right season.
Go on.
Matthew Pennington.
Bloody hell. Premier League loanee. Yeah, that's the other danger of the Championship that you forget, because you go, we'll get some good Premier League loanees in, and then they turn out to be not good enough for the Championship either when you get them down there. But okay, well, it'll be nice to see.
Good test
again
for our strikers, maybe.
We'll be bedding them all in, and we'll do a nice win.
It's going to be a lot of bedding in to do, isn't there?
Yeah.
Given about 10 players are leaving.
Although actually, I've turned up some research about it's a company that's it's like sports analytics. They do research. It's an American company, and actually, a lot of churn when you go into the Championship is not a bad thing. It doesn't tend to hinder you as much as you might think. So probably be fine. It's doing it quick and dirty. It's basically you've got to spend your way out and do it quick.
I think sort of clearing the decks might be a good option. Because I remember when Bielsa first came in and we obviously played Stoke at the start of that. A colleague at my old job was a massive Stoke fan. And he was saying about their odds of being favourites and stuff. He was like, it's ridiculous. He was like, we got relegated because they were a terrible football team, terrible players, and that. You do sort of forget that you get relegated for a reason, don't you?
The other side to that is like, how many other teams can you see going in there and spending up to £10 million, 6, 8, 10, whatever it might be, on a centre-back, and then going out and doing it again for another player and maybe another player? Because quite conceivably, with a bit of cash, even if we spent £50 million in this summer window, 12 of it's payable up front? It's not a huge expenditure, is it?
Suppose not. I mean, I suppose Stoke did buy a few players, though. They bought like Tom Ince, didn't they? Which is just a very championshipy.
Just gone to Watford.
He has. Seems like a very sensible move for him. I'm amazed he's not been there before.
Who's the manager at Watford
this week?
Yeah.
Is it the guy who Spanish Barnsley?
Paul Heckingbottom.
No. Barnsley and West Brom. What was he called?
Yes, I know the guy you mean.
Yeah, him. He's a very
Ismail Valerian
There you
Ismail.
go.
That's him.
He's a very Watford appointment because I think he averages like less than a year in every job already.
Not Paul Ince, though. Surprised to find it wasn't Paul Ince, because that would have been a logical reason for the move. He was rumoured to be going to Sheffield Wednesday as well, but that doesn't seem to have happened.
That'd be nice.
Keep forgetting we've got to play him this season. Have we got anything else to add then, or does that pretty much wrap it up? I know we're feeding on scraps here, aren't we? And we're only doing this show just to basically make something happen.
Adam Pope's tweeted,
All right.
the jigsaw pieces will surely fit together soon and in the right order.
Cheers, Poppy.
Not seen any evidence of it, but surely they will, won't they?
Of course they will.
They will.
Of course they will. Right, well, should we wrap it up there then and come back when something actually does happen? We've got Phil to speak to in the next 24, 48 hours. He'll know something.
Well, he will know something. I think we should cable time to the chair until he tells us.
Effectively holding Phil Hay hostage. Hell of a way to kick off the new show with him. So have a look at the member show as well, where we're doing a bit of a deep dive on the member show, aren't we? Where we've spoken about defence and keepers. We have opted to rank them on a fairly unique scale. We did the Nando's chicken scale last year and the Beaufort scale, which you did, Rob, as well, which was the strength of wind. But because this season's shit, we've gone for something appropriate. That's over on the member show, so do check that out if you are a TSB Plus member. In the meantime, we'll wrap it up there and be back when we've got something to say.
Please.
August, then. We'll see you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.